I see it's being a little glitchy with a picture. Hopefully the words will come through okay. Usually when I listen back to it, it usually is okay. So I hope that I hope that's the case. We'll be meditating at 10:02, just another minute. Give it a minute and a half. I came in just a little bit late. Good morning to whoever is joining out there. It's being a little glitchy with the video. I'm hoping the audio is coming across okay, so which is the main part. And yeah, I don't know why it's being glitchy this morning, but it is what it is. And as long as you can hear my voice okay. In fact, I'm going to go on Facebook, whoever's out there, if you feel like, I'm guessing it's probably you, Michelle, but if you feel like just letting me know whether you can still hear my voice okay, even though the video is being spotty there, I would appreciate that. Although I kind of hate to open up something else here just because I don't want it to get more glitchy. We'll see. Yeah, it's not getting me on Facebook. I might have to just let that go. Okay, I'm going to let that go. I don't want to add anything else to the system. You're still on here. I'm assuming that you can hear me okay. So, yeah. So somebody else just joined in too. It's a little glitchy right now with the video. Hopefully the audio you can hear okay. You're staying on here, so I'm hoping that everything is being heard okay on your end. Okay, and I'm going to trust that everything is right where it needs to be, and let's meditate. Forgot to turn my heater off too. I was running just a little bit behind. Just took my doggy for a walk there and got back a little late. So just taking in a nice deep breath. And just letting go any stress, any worries. Just letting go of any of the busyness of the mind. Just allow your mind to be quiet. There's nowhere you need to go. There's nothing you need to do. There's nothing you need to figure out. Nothing you need to figure out. There's no problems to be solved. And in fact, really, there's no problems. It's only our mind thinking life should be different than what it is. And you can just notice that. Let go of that. We don't need to solve anything. We don't even need to change anything, to be honest with you. It's not that we can't change things. It's not that we can't take action. It's just that as we connect and come from that true place that we are, the true place actually is not even an action. It's not a functioning self from the point of anything physical needs to happen whatsoever. I know that sounds kind of odd and strange, but the more I connect with that, I absolutely love it. It's like being a tree but without the body, because the tree is just sitting and being. There's nowhere it needs to go. There's nothing it needs to do. It's just in the pure beingness of life. And that's the truth of who you are as well. But again, I'm not interested in convincing you of that or you believing me. I want to walk you through letting go of things that block you from realizing that truth. I've been having a song play in my head recently. It's a good song. It's giving me an indication that something potentially wonderful is about to happen. And I bring that up because we all have guidance, first of all. And I was reading the book by my teacher, Sadashiva, who said that there's always two voices. The voice of the ego, the voice of the person, and there's the voice of spirit, the voice of God. And the more we notice the voice of the ego, we can recognize it, and we don't give it any attention, then the voice of God becomes clearer and clearer for us. Some years back, I don't even know, 20, 25 years ago, I suppose, that I was clear that I wanted to walk the path of God. And I said very clearly and very adamantly, Father, I have to have guidance. If you want me to follow your direction, if you want me to walk the cadence that you want me to walk, this rhythm, this flow, this pure beingness of who I am. I don't know that I used those words. I don't know if I knew what that meant. I certainly didn't know what that meant at that time. But I just said, I have to have good guidance. So please give me the guidance that I need to help me to navigate through these challenging times. And at the time, it of course did feel challenging. Much of life felt challenging, felt like a struggle, and I cried daily, sometimes many times a day, as perhaps some or many of you have as well. I was not happy, but that inspired me to look deeper and to really question, who am I? And so, because of my clear choosing, my commitment to God, my commitment to awaken to the truth of who I am, the guidance came forth very clearly and very powerfully, and it's continued to expand over the years. Generally where I hear songs play in my head, but sometimes where I literally hear voices. And it's not because I'm special or one person is more special than another. No, it's simply because when you practice listening and you practice being aware that which you are not and not listening to who you are not, your guidance naturally opens up more and more, and it has to. It has to, because eventually, if we're to be part of the divine flow of God, the divine flow of life, we need our intuition. I did a talk at Unity of Grand Rapids yesterday, and somebody was mentioning, how do you know what the guidance is? Well, I would say this. First of all, if it's rooted in love, peace, and joy, you can trust it. If it's not, if it's just of the thinking mind, if it's opinions, judgments, or if there's any negativity in it at all, it's rooted in fear or shame or guilt, be wary. Because your true self is peace, is joy, is love, and cannot communicate otherwise. Now, does that mean that sometimes Spirit isn't very forthright with things that feel abrupt and challenging? No, I've had many a times where I have felt that I wasn't heeding to the words and the guidance that God was giving me. And at times, in fact, I was sharing this with some friends yesterday, that sometimes when I've just continued to eat and not putting any effort forth, not eating sugar and just eat whatever I want, and I recognize that even that is a belief about what we eat. We can transcend that as well. But based on where I was at, The song that would come and sometimes still comes is, I'm a fool to do your dirty work. Maybe you know the song, I'm a fool to do your dirty work, oh yeah. Sorry to put you through that song, my voice. But in any case, I felt God's grace pull back. I don't know if that's the right word to use. That's the word I'm going to use. But I felt God pull back in areas where God was helping me, because God was saying, look, I don't want to do things that you can do for yourself. Why would God tie your shoe for you when you already know how to tie your shoe? But God will help you with things that you're struggling with, that you don't fully know how to do. You're not conscious and aware enough to know what to do. And one of the first things when I run into trouble is that I simply give it over to God right off the get-go. I'm well practiced, well disciplined of that, and I absolutely love that. Because God is on our side, life is on our side, and so as soon as you are feeling challenged, one of the beautiful things about giving it over to God is that God is on your side, but also it keeps you from looking to your mind for the solutions, for the answers. And when you give it over to God, give it over to God and don't wait for the answer. Maybe it'll come back immediately. Maybe it will come back a month later. I don't know. I know that it will come back. And as my teacher has said, that every single question you ask is answered. It's just a matter of which voice you're listening to for the answer. I had posted on Facebook, I don't know if it's yesterday or the day before, the mind is a wonderful servant, but a horrible master. I might be paraphrasing a little bit. It might have been terrible master, but you get the gist of it. So when we give our stress, when we give our worries, when we give our burdens over to God, God will gladly receive it, and God will gladly help you to navigate back home to who you are. Always, always, always. God is on your side and is here to support you with the awakening of who you are. So I want to get back with the good songs that I was having in my head, that I have been having. And to be aware, be conscious and aware that when you have songs, good or bad, notice that for me, generally I'm being gifted with this information, with this message, because they're on my side and helping me to know something that perhaps I can do something differently with it if it's a bad guide, if it's something that we consider negative, or to be aware, like with this good song, my mind takes it and might say, from my ego perspective, might say, for a long time it's like, oh, I got this guidance, yeah, God's guiding me, oh, Spirit's guiding me, wow, I've got really good guidance, did I tell you about my guidance? And so the mind and the ego wants to make something of it. In fact, they want to make something of everything, because they're trying to build you up, build your worth up, perhaps only to tear you back down, but they want to build you up so that you can be somebody, that you can be somebody special, and that you're worthy, and that you deserve to be happy, and all of these things. The song that I have been listening to lately is I'm on the edge of glory, and I don't remember the words after that, but I've heard this song in the past, and generally it means something very, very wonderful has the potential of happening, but quite oftentimes I've taken it and I've made it more than what it is, because my mind says, oh boy, this must mean that I'm going to step into enlightenment, and it may be, may not be. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And I don't even know why this song comes. Maybe it's to help me to be in the right attitude to receive it. Maybe it's just because it can't help but to express that truth to me based on this moment and where I'm at. And to affirm that what I'm doing is good and powerful and wonderful. But I don't need to figure out why it is. I've done that far too many times, and I have unconsciously sabotaged the song, the message, because I thought it was way more better than it was, which is simply more of the egoic self, the person, and how the person thinks it should be, or the way they want it to be. I feel like I want to hold the space for more silence and more stillness. And even just now, me speaking that is just because I can be very chatty, as you all know. But with that said, I am chatty because I feel like it just feels like what I've needed to do, what I've needed to say. But I'm also feeling more called to explore the stillness and explore the silence of who I am and who you are. And I was watching a video by Muji the other day, and he said, I've walked you home to the truth of who you are. Now see that same truth in everyone you encounter. I'm paraphrasing his words. These are the words that came through me. And so I've been exploring when I'm with somebody to recognize that they too are not their bodies. They too are not the person. And they too are the beautiful, perfect, empty, formless awareness within. And my soul can greet their soul. My soul can greet your soul in the emptiness and pure beauty and freedom of who we are. And to me, when two or more are gathered, there is a beautiful strength of that. Just imagine if two or more are gathered from the very core essence of who we are. How beautiful, how powerful. And as I was just laying and snuggling with Laura this morning, I just practiced that. I just practiced just laying in the formless truth of who I am. And of course, our forms are touching, but what's also, I can't really say touching, what's also, how can I say that when there's no form involved also? It's just that we were just being in the sweet, pure beauty of who we were, of who we are. And we talk about angels, and we immediately conjure up an image of what angels look like. Or we have an image of what Jesus looks like, or Buddha. Maybe you even have an image of what God looks like. But I'm inviting you to go beyond all the physical images, beyond all the physical forms, and recognize that every single one of us was created in the likeness and the image of God. I don't even know if created is true, because when you connect with your true self, you see that you were never born, you will never die. It's always been, it will always be. And yet perhaps creation is the best way to describe that we are one with our beloved Creator. And so as we begin to practice seeing that we're all this perfect formless beauty, we can begin to let go of our judgments also. When we recognize that nobody else is their person either, we can begin to let go of all the judgments and blame that we have of others as well. To see that those so-called enemies are exactly the same as us. Your enemy is exactly the same as you are. It's beyond form. They're beyond any person. They're beyond any images or ideas or concepts of who they think they are. And they too are pure conscious awareness at the very core of who they are, which is the same at the very core of who you are and who I am. It's the pure isness, the pure I amness. And what was it that God said to Moses on the mountaintop? I am that I am. There's no doingness. It's just a pure beingness. I just am. I just am. There's nothing to do. Nothing to do. There's no actions to take. It's just to, I can't even say the word sit, because that it kind of insinuates some kind of form, but just to be in the stillness, be in the silence, and be as a witness to all of it. And how can we not be on the edge of glory? How can we not be on the edge of glory as we continue to shed all these old ideas and beliefs of who we think we are? I love you guys. And I say these things because I want God to shine through me, and I want God to shine through you, and to just be that simple, perfect, formless, beautiful truth of who we are, that is not broken, does not need fixing, and is perfectly joyful in the pure beingness and silence and stillness of who you are. The only thing that ever needs fixing or healing is simply the idea of who we think we are, this one that we call the person. The person being all those stories and beliefs that we've accumulated over the years to describe who we think we are. I've been on Facebook some lately with this beautiful exchange by a friend of mine. I don't think he would mind me mentioning his name, Craig. And he really was asking such conscious and mindful questions. What do you mean conscious awareness? What do you mean? And we had this really beautiful exchange, and I loved it because I saw that he longs for just being that simple truth of who he is and who you are and who I am. And it helped me to just check in deeper and to find the words which are will always fall short, because in the end there is no single word, no single description, no label, and no knowledge that will help you to fully realize the truth of who you are. Because it's not anything the mind can understand. It is beyond comprehension from the mind. And the Apostle Paul in the Bible speaks of the peace that passeth all understanding. You, your mind, your person cannot understand the peace of who you are, because it is not logical, it is not physical, there is no form, there is no idea, it is not about having this great intellectual knowledge. Some people think if they learn more and more and more, then they will awaken. But you will never awaken from learning more, but you may awaken from letting go of all those things that you have bought into as the truth, that you think is true, and letting go of those so that only the empty, formless truth of who you are remains. A long time ago, I saw the Dalai Lama at the University of Michigan. And he said, all these classes that we teach, and we don't teach anything about discovering who we are. And then he went on to say, knowledge can be either good or bad. And of course, there's many things that we know and are helpful. It's helpful to know how to repair a car and be able to fix it. It's helpful to know how to use math. There's plenty of things that knowledge is good for, but knowledge can also be used as bad, particularly when we think we have learned something and it's not the truth. And we see this certainly in the political realm, on both sides, people claiming they know the truth. But I will say this, if you think it's the truth, I'm simply asking you, is it rooted in fear and judgment, or love, peace, and joy? Because if it's rooted in fear and judgment, be wary that it's the truth. And the way to discover the truth, as we try to navigate this crazy world of people saying all these lies, just all these things that they are saying the truth and it's not the truth. How do we discover the truth? We acknowledge our judgment. We acknowledge our fears. Because anytime you have a negative emotion, there is always a fear at the core of it. And as A Course in Miracles says, there's only either fear or love. And so when you let go of whatever negativity it is, when you let go of the fear, the truth and love remain. That's one of the reasons we do these meditations like we do, to empty out all these false beliefs, all these stories, all these concepts, all these images, even if there's something you know that is the truth. I invite you to let go of that as well. Why do I say that? Because when you empty out everything, the only thing that remains is truth. The only thing that remains is you, is peace, is joy, and is love. That's why I say, I invite you to empty all of it out. Everything, everything, everything. Would you be willing to do that right now? To empty out so fully and so completely that only the truth of who you are remains. Because you cannot empty out you. It's like a fish swimming in the ocean and trying to get rid of the water. It can't be done. And maybe you can jump out of the water and get a glimpse that you are more than the water. But nonetheless, you cannot get rid of yourself. You cannot get rid of God. You can't even get rid of the truth or peace or joy or love. And we talk about seeking peace, joy, and love. And that's okay, but there comes a point in time where we have to give up the waiting, because seeking insinuates that there's something that we need to do, maybe somewhere we need to go, or we believe something else has to happen in order to experience the truth of who we are. No. I'm inviting you right now to let go of any waiting. You don't need to wait one single second. You are you. And the only thing that blocks you from recognizing that truth, from being that truth, is all these old stories and ideas. That's all. But you also don't need to try to be loving, or try to find peace, or try to find joy, or try to have fun. You don't need to try to do any of these things, because when you let go of all the stories, when you let go of the ideas of the person and let go of the person, only thing that remains is peace, joy, and love. And you cannot not be that, because that is your true nature of who you are. You can't not be those things. I know it's a double negative. Don't mark my grade down. Don't mark my grade down for sharing that. But you cannot not be you. It's not possible. You can travel to wherever, you can do, and even if you have done heinous crimes, you will still be you. The challenge will be that you will be so steeped in a belief that says, I'm a horrible person, that you will not be able to see the truth of who you are. And this is the only thing that's happened. All the things that we've accumulated, the beliefs and stories, the shame, the guilt, and the blame that would convince us that we're not worthy, or that we need to do something else to repent for our sins, or that we need to wait for something to happen or do something spectacular to earn our way back into heaven, or back into that heavenly state of who we are. But I'm telling you this right now. There is not one single thing that you need to do to earn your way back to who you already are. With that said, there's nothing to forgive, because you are simply unconscious and unaware of those things that you did. Any mistake that you made came from when you were believing that you were the person, and the person wasn't conscious and unaware to know any differently. But you don't need to earn your way back to the truth of who you are. There's nothing you need to do. And yes, there are consequences when we make certain choices, and it may make it difficult for us to recognize the truth of who we are. But nonetheless, the truth of who you are never fades. It doesn't come and go. It doesn't fall away. It is you. It has always been you. It will always be you. And it doesn't take any physicalness. It doesn't take any form, a body or a mind or anything physical, to be the conscious witness of life. You see, all the things that we have ever done and what we will ever do, the only way to recognize that those things exist, the only way to recognize that we exist, is because there is consciousness. There is a consciousness, and you know you're here. You know you're here. How do you know you're here? Because you're conscious that you're here. So when you are being conscious that you're here and you have an awareness of your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs, of your person, of your body, of your mind, of your experiences, of your memories, of your five senses, you are conscious and aware of all those things, and none of them can exist without conscious awareness, but you can exist without them, because none of them have a consciousness or are not conscious of you. And I hope we're at the level that we can talk this way, to return home to who you are, that is fully rooted in this present moment, meaning there's nothing you're dragging in from the past and there's no worries from the future. There's only this present moment. And in this present moment and who you are, time no longer exists. You are beyond time. There is just pure isness, pure beingness. Time is simply a man-made construct, and it's fine. We all agree that we're going to meet up for dinner at a certain time or go to work at a certain time, and that's just the agreement we have based on the construct that we're in. But when you return home, when you come back to the full recognition of who you are, it is beyond time. That's why you can sit. I can't use the word sit. That's why you can simply be in the pure isness, in the eternal bliss of who you are. And it's beyond any doing or any action whatsoever. It is simply conscious, formless awareness. And I just want to ask you some questions while you're in this space. Does your core self need anything? No, it doesn't need one single thing. It's empty. It's nothingness. It's formless. Can it get sick? There's nothing to get sick. And just remember these things, because these things that we go over here, when you stray and you get caught in your person, then you might buy into stories that I'm sick. Well, who's sick? Maybe your body's feeling sick. Come back to being who you are, that is completely of health. And it's the greatest way to heal any sickness. And you will find the more you connect and recognize your true self, be your true self, you will catch your person, you will catch your egoic self more and more. I'm tired. Who is the I that is speaking that? That is the person. I'm frustrated. Who is that? I need to eat right away. Who needs to eat right away? you will catch the limitations of your mind, limitations of your person all the time, the more you practice just being the truth of who you are. How do you practice that? Simply by continuing to be aware. Be a witness to life. Be a witness to the thoughts, to the feelings. Be a witness when you're eating. Be a witness that your body seems cold. Be a witness to your body seems sick. Be a witness to the judgments, the fears, all the emotions. Be a witness to all the senses. And as that witness, you don't need to fix or change anything. You are simply a witness to it. That is all. And that is you. And I just want you to take a look right now. We talk about not being the form, not being the body. And as we meditate, many times we lose that sensation of the physicalness of who we have believed ourselves to be. And it can be a wonderful time to just simply be aware of there's no sensation there. And there's nothing physical needed to be conscious and aware of anything. And of course, if you're still believing that you are this person in some way, it will block you from recognizing the emptiness and truth of who you are. And what's also true when we're in this true isness of who we are, I ask you the question, can this true self, can this pure beingness of who you are ever die? No. It is eternal. It has always been you. It will always be you. Does this isness need to fix or do anything? No, not one single thing. Nothing. Does it need to fix or do anything to experience the peace and the joy and the love of who it is? No, nothing. Does it need you to do anything to earn your way back to this truth, to be this truth? No, there's nothing to earn, there's nothing to do. You are that truth. And so now just being aware perhaps of your breath. Maybe you want to be aware of the stillness, of the silence. You can practice your awareness with anything, with sounds, with sights. And in fact, the more you practice, even eating food, just be conscious and aware of the tastes. Just notice the experience. Just be aware of that. Not needing to fix or change any of it. You're simply a witness to it. You're a witness to the sounds. You're a witness to touch. You're a witness to all the senses. And you can use any of those as a way of practicing just being aware. And let's just sit in this pure beingness of who you are right now. This pure beingness, this pure isness of us. if your mind has drifted, just come back to the present moment. In fact, I invite you to practice this today. Anytime you're noticing thoughts, anytime you're noticing feelings, anytime you're noticing the mind being busy, anything that is beyond the stillness and the silence, just returning home to who you are, just coming back to the present moment. Returning to the present moment. Every time you notice your mind is busy in whatever capacity, thoughts, feelings, whatever it is, you don't need to entertain them in any way. Just simply return back to the present moment and back home to who you are. And again, just coming back to the present moment, coming back to who you are. Just returning to the present moment again. going to begin to bring this meditation to an end. So if you'd like to continue meditating, please either mute or turn your device off. And thank you so much for joining. Thank you. And for those of you who are ready to finish, just taking in a nice deep breath. And just re-energizing this wonderful body, this wonderful form that gets us around in this lifetime, and just maybe moving it, stretching it a little bit. And taking your time, and whenever you're ready, opening your eyes. Sorry, my eye's getting better, but it's still not 100%. But at least I don't look quite as bad as I did. Let's see. Okay, let's see here. I want to go over to Facebook. Hey, you guys. Thank you. Thank you for joining me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is a constant reminder for me to return home, and I love seeing other people as the formless truth of who they are as well. It's really just profoundly striking me, like that when you consider Jesus or Buddha or Krishna or any of the great sages or saints, and or any family or loved ones or anyone, even my puppy, like realizing that there's nothing physical, that their soul, their truth is beyond anything physical. And it really helps me to look at those that I've judged as, for lack of a better word, my enemies, that I've had judgment with, to just see that they're the exact same thing as me and you. So I love that. For some reason, Facebook does not seem to be popping up right now. So let me try YouTube. But it seems a bit glitchy today, so we'll see. YouTube looks like it's popping up here, so I'll go back to Facebook and let's see. Sandy, how do people stay in the energy flow of awareness if their partner is not like-minded? So, Sandy, you're saying, how do people stay in the energy flow of awareness if their partner is not like-minded? It doesn't matter if people are like-minded or not. You're still going to be aware of them not being like-minded. They might say, oh, I don't believe in all that God stuff. And you might have a feeling or a thought about that. Just notice, be aware of that feeling or thought. They might say, oh, this guy is a complete idiot over here, and you're not wanting to be in that space. Notice how your mind, your person says, I don't want to be in that space. Notice that. Well, I don't know if I can stay connected or really love this person. Who is the I that is saying that? Is that you? Or is that the person that's saying that and needing or wanting that individual to be different than what they are? In the end, it doesn't matter if it's somebody that we're madly in love with or somebody that our person can't stand. It's all about being conscious and aware of them. Just being conscious and aware I shouldn't say them too, but of your thoughts about them or your feelings about them. There's a book by Paul Ferrini called Love Without Conditions. And he says in there, when we practice true forgiveness, there's not one single relationship that cannot be sustained. Now, doesn't mean the person will like us or love us, but what it does mean is that when we're so emptied out of our judgment about them and we're just practicing being a witness to all of our thoughts and our feelings and our judgments or fears, whatever it is, being aware of it with that person, then we can still love them from the core truth of who we are. I wouldn't say you need to dwell on people, you know. I love what somebody asked Muji one time, you know, how do I love this person? I'm really struggling. He said, stop trying to love them. Stop spending all your time trying to love everybody. And so what he was saying is, when you're just practicing on continuing to return home to who you are, you know, you've heard me say my mantra, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all else shall be added unto you. Just stay on your path. Stay on your commitment to fully awakening, fully realizing the truth of who you are, and you'll find that everything else just begins to fall away. So it's not like you have to, you know, oh, I'm going to heal this relationship and focus on it. You may feel inspired to heal it, and you may feel inspired to dig a little deeper, but it doesn't mean you have to make that your focal point. Your focal point is continuing to come back to the present moment when your mind is busy and judging them, either with thoughts or feelings, beliefs, whatever it is. You are the witness to all of it, and you can stay rooted in that truth by just simply being the conscious witness to all of it. I hope that's helpful for you. I'm going to go back over just to see if I can connect with Facebook here. There, Facebook's coming up, I think. There we go. And happy Monday. Sounds good. Okay, Michelle, good. Thanks for joining. Thank you. I love you, my friend. Thank you for being here. Sandy, thank you so much. I know there's somebody else out there on YouTube. I don't know who it is. Thanks for joining. It was a good, I think, powerful meditation if you want to look back at the beginning of it. But in any case, I'll probably see you guys, but if not, have yourself a beautiful week. I'll be on tomorrow at 10 o'clock, okay? Namaste, my friends. Thanks for the hearts, Michelle. And Sandy, you said... message retracted. Oh, okay. Message retracted. I don't know if... I guess something pulled... You had something and it was retracted or something. Okay. No worries. If you want to put something on after this is closed out, that's fine too. My eye looks really weird. Okay. All right, Sandy. Thanks. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.